am not pregnant. But La Luz Women's Center does not know that. La Luz Women's Center is what is commonly known as a Crisis Pregnancy Center, or CPC. These are clinics, quote unquote, often funded by religious organizations that pose as abortion clinics or healthcare clinics and serve to intercept women planning to have abortions. It is important to note that many CPCs like La Luz Women's Center are not licensed medical providers, thereby meaning they are not bound by HIPAA. And with New Mexico being a two-party consent state to record, it is perfectly legal to record in these sessions to any lawyers who might be listening. With much of their funding coming from outside organizations that support pro-life values, they are able to use clever tactics such as buying ads online to place their result for their website at the top of internet searches such as abortion near me, which is what I searched in this image. La Luz Women's Center and many CPCs just like it often advertise free pregnancy testing, STI testing, and ultrasound for women who might find themselves unexpectedly pregnant. These tactics serve to prey on vulnerable women who might feel out of options or can be manipulated and gaslit to fit one's own agenda, specifically the pro-life agenda. A simple way to tell if a center is actually a crisis pregnancy center is looking at their advertisements. If they are advertising pregnancy test, STI testing, and ultrasound at no cost to you, be suspicious, as many of these services, when done by professional, require money. To wrap up the intro quickly, crisis pregnancy centers are a scam. They are unethical and they are a sleazy business model at best. They don't serve patients, they don't serve women, and they only serve to push their own agenda. For this project, I decided to let La Luz Women's Center, a crisis pregnancy center, speak for itself. I wore a microphone for my entire appointment in which I pretended to be pregnant. Over the phone, I scheduled an appointment in which I told the receptionist that I had missed 2 periods, my most recent period being on August 31st. This was not true, and I had recently finished my period, and this was ultimately the result of miscommunication when I told that my most recent period was October 31st. Seeing that I missed 2 periods, it was easily assumed that I could have been pregnant, so I scheduled the appointment under the guise that I was, and the Luz Women's Center went along with it. I initially arrived at the center and was met with a few normal questions that you would get at any gynecological appointment. When was your last period? Any unusual discharge? How are your periods? But things suddenly got interesting once the mask was lifted. I was soon asked questions about religion and my family life, and I was pressured into choosing one option or another. I was asked if I wanted an abortion, and I said yes, and they asked, have I considered any other options? And I will let that happen right now.
How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have this back for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you want to follow me back, we can get started.
All right.
Just that first seat there.
Okay.
Go ahead and have a seat. Well, how long have you been here from Texas?
I moved for school in August of 2023, so about a year and a half, kind of, a year and a quarter.
What part of Texas did you live in?
I'm from Dallas area.
I lived in Garland, Texas.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I really liked it.
It's pretty cool.
I think everybody is a little more polite in Texas.
Yeah. Southern hospitality. Yeah.
So the first thing that we do is I read through our limitations of service. It says what we do and don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of it, I'll have you just click on this purple rectangle and it just does an electronic signature saying that you accept our terms of service.
Okay.
Okay. So La Luz Women's Center is a nonprofit organization. All of our services are at no cost to you, including a urine pregnancy test, limited ultrasound if the urine test is positive, and limited sexually transmitted disease testing. We also perform a situational assessment and offer information on all pregnancy options. The medical services are performed under the supervision of our medical director, Dr. Celia Valdez. Our stenographer, also under her supervision, may provide an ultrasound to determine the viability of your pregnancy as of the date your ultrasound is performed. By signing below, you are giving consent for a urine pregnancy test to be performed by our medical staff and for the results to be verbally provided to you by that individual immediately following the completion of the test. Whether the pregnancy or STD test is positive or negative, you should consult with a licensed physician of your own choosing. If you do not have a physician, we will offer referrals because we do not offer prenatal care. The information obtained here is not intended as a substitute for professional counseling. All information is kept confidential except if child abuse or other mandated reporting laws apply, or if we believe or hear that you're in danger of hurting yourself or others. La Luz Women's Center does not perform or refer for abortion, which includes not providing any information regarding your visit to assist in obtaining an abortion. Excuse me. La Luz Women's Center does not profit from your decision. We are here to be a resource of information to empower you to make the best decision. So if you
This lack of medical care, including referral for abortion, extensive testing, extensive ultrasound, is pretty par for the course for these centers as there's no real medical staff. Upon looking through these recordings, I can't seem to find who this medical director is. But in conversation with the RN on staff, I asked if there was an MD, and she said medical director, which I think is a tricky tactic because there is no MD, medical doctor, but they do have a medical director. It cannot be overstated how fraudulent these centers are, offering no real medical care. They pose as medical clinics to prey on women and capture vulnerable women who might want to have an abortion and feed them false information, as you will soon see in these next recordings. You might be curious why I chose this topic for my presentation and final project, and I really think the answer is because not enough people would. Not enough people know the ins and outs of these schemes, not enough people know enough about abortion and gynecology and the political science surrounding it. I provided these two videos to maybe give some insight on why it's important for every individual person to have knowledge and unbiased information on the subject.
Are you guys pro-life?
Yeah.
I believe that is alive. It's a life force. The next president of America could be in that afternoon release. Also, we're talking to young men about this bill that we want to get drafted, which would basically make state-sponsored vasectomies mandatory.
It takes away from like a person's like get kind of like rights and like what their freedoms to do.
It's a lot of kids being so that's the only reason I think the government even has a place.
Yeah, I still think it's up to the person.
Yeah, same. Up to the person, you know.
Why are there different sizes of tampons?
Can I curse on here?
Yeah.
Different size pussies?
We're at the March for Life for another episode of Roe v. Bros, a game show where we find out how much men know about women's bodies. How much blood do women lose on their period, on average?
I think it's like a gallon of blood.
I'd assume probably like a shitload of blood.
Which is more sensitive, the clitoris or the penis?
Penis. Penis for sure, yeah. I'm gonna go with penis.
Gotcha. How much paid leave do new mothers get?
Maybe 3-4 months, depending on where they work.
What is a period?
Blood.
You're feeling pretty good about this, aren't you?
I know 100% about women's bodies.
We'll see. Can you pee with a tampon in?
No.
You can't.
Can you pee with a tampon in?
You can, but it's gonna hurt.
No, I don't think so. That'd be kind of... Isn't that kind of unhealthy though? Because it's inside you and you're peeing in it?
Can you poop with a tampon in?
No?
Going number 2 with that in you? I'd say no.
Are you registered to vote?
I am registered to vote.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
Are you registered to vote?
Yeah, I'm registered to vote.
Don't let man brains outvote women in the upcoming election.
What's the first day of your last period?
August 31st.
What's the date of the most recent pregnancy test that you've taken?
I have not taken one.
How many times have you been pregnant, not including this time?
I've never been pregnant.
And how do you feel about potentially being pregnant?
A little worried because I have a uterine deformity, which would make it pretty risky. So that's that.
If your test is positive, what are your intentions for this pregnancy?
Most likely abortion.
So, other than most likely abortion, what other choice would you make?
I don't know because I have a bicornuate uterus, so we have a really increased risk of miscarriage. So a lot of times our pregnancies do have to end in an abortion if like an abruption happens.
Did you have your septum removed or not?
It's not removed.
I've had somebody else with the same thing before.
Mm-hmm.
She had her septum removed. So the only option you're considering is abortion.
Correct.
Would a pregnancy at this time cause financial stress?
Yes.
What's the father?
This is when the act began to unfold, and they started asking more and more leading questions. What are your plans besides abortion? Well, I don't have any. Let's fix that, is how it mostly went.
So while we're waiting for the pregnancy test to be processed, just come in and talk to you a little bit. So as part of what we do, we like to talk about the 3 areas of wellness. One is emotional, one is spiritual, and one is physical. So I was trying to figure out how you were doing emotionally about being pregnant with the different questions I asked earlier. And it doesn't sound like it's an ideal thing. So
Not really.
And our nurse, Caroline, will come in and talk to you about different health questions and that kind of thing, ask you questions. And then this is an opportunity to talk about how you're doing spiritually. Is your spirituality something that's important to you?
I guess, yeah.
Did you grow up going to church?
I did, but my parents kind of grew up in different religions, so I wasn't really forced or swayed any one way. But yeah, I went to like Sunday school for a bit, so.
Well, something that we do is offer prayer for you and the things that you're going through. If that's something that you're interested in, I'd be glad to pray for you. If it's not something you're interested in, I wouldn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So.
You can do it if you want.
I don't want, if it's something that you would like prayer for, I don't want to feel like I'm doing it just because I want to, you know what I mean? So if it's something that you would like, I would do it. If it's something that you're just wanting to do because you think I want to do it, then I don't want to do it.
Well, I guess, what do you usually pray for?
Pray for your health. Pray for the decision that you're making. Just guidance. Just anything that if you're in college right now and you want prayer for, a test that you're doing or a relationship or, anything,
Yeah.
family members that are maybe sick or, just whatever comes to mind.
We do have our final exams for the semester in a couple weeks, so there's that.
Okay. Well, why don't we pray for that then?
All right.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing Jillian in here today. We just ask that you would help her to have good health and just, if it's your will, to have a negative pregnancy test so she doesn't have to go through with anything medically. I ask that you would just help her as she's anticipating some finals coming up. I ask that you would just help her to have the time to study and just to be able to remember everything that she needs to remember and to be able to pass these finals. Thank you for bringing her to Albuquerque and helping her to be part of UNM and for the relationships that she's made. Thank you for her parents, and just ask that you would help them grow closer to one another. And I pray all these things in your name.
Thank you.
So how did you?
One of the most challenging issues I did not predict going in at all was how my own experience having worked in healthcare would shape my understanding in my own, I guess, impression of this, because the hard part was I had to go along with all of this. And in my experience in healthcare, you don't bring religion into it. And I guess what did I really expect when I went into a situation that I knew was run by this Christian grifter group, I guess. And it was like the red flag went up. I'm like, oh, you, in what other medical scenario would you have your care provider pray for you? And this is weird because when I got my appendix out, they did pray for me, but I just figured it was like just a weird guy who took my appendix out. And yes, that is all for now.
Hello. Your test was negative.
Okay.
Right? So, there's this. So this is just saying that you have a negative pregnancy test. It kind of goes over some different causes for you to miss a period other than pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Got that for you. I am gonna have you sign. This is just an authorization to release information in case like you're go to another doctor's appointment and you want to release our records from your visit here today. Okay. So this is, so I'll just have you click myself and then sign electronically. Perfect. Okay. I'm just gonna go over some health history with you.
Okay.
Have you ever been pregnant before?
No.
Okay. So no previous miscarriages, no previous abortions, nothing like that?
No.
Okay. Do you have any allergies to any medications?
Sulfa drugs and penicillin.
Okay. What kind of reactions do you have?
For sulfa, I get a rash, and penicillin makes me hallucinate.
Do you know your blood type?
I am O positive.
Good for you. No one knows that.
Yeah. No, I like asking my friends that because apparently no one knows, and I thought that was weird. But I donate blood a lot, so I just like see it every time.
All right. And so, what was the first day of your last period?
August 31st.
All right. And was that period normal or different than usual?
It was normal.
Okay. And are your periods usually regular?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. About how far apart do you have them? Like every 28 days, every 30?
It's about 28.
All right. And when was the last time you used any birth control?
I don't know. It's been a couple of years because I used to take it for PMDD. So.
Okay. What, so you were just using like an oral?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any morning after pill or plan B with this suspected pregnancy?
No.
Any abdominal pain or cramping?
A bit, yeah.
Is it pretty mild?
Yeah, it's kind of just persistent, I guess.
Okay. What about vaginal bleeding or spotting?
No.
Any vaginal discharge?
Nothing unusual.
Are you having nausea or vomiting?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Any chronic health problems?
No.
And have you been tested for STDs?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a primary care or like any doctor that you see regularly that can follow up with you about this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would, go get a checkup and kind of see, because you would be, it's been a couple months, so just to kind of see, like, is there something off, and get some lab work done, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Is there an MD here?
We have a medical director that's a doctor, but she's not on site all the time. She
Okay.
kind of comes in and out, so. What else? Any other questions, concerns?
In closing, I'd just like to stress the importance of bodily autonomy. Every single person is a person, and no person has the right to govern what one does with one's own body or in their own life. Frankly, I'm continually impressed by how these centers conduct themselves and how they're allowed to exist. It's so unethical. You would never see anything like this in a real healthcare setting. It's very disheartening to know that there are people who've dedicated their entire lives to the cause of disenfranchising women and removing and not allowing them the full extent to which they have their rights to choose. I hope that the very first and maybe even only thing that this accomplishes is how to find one of these centers, because I can't imagine myself needing serious help and going here and being met with nothing but discouragement for my own choice. I hope that having seen what you've seen and listened to in this video, you know how you can access actual care, and you are now able to spread information about fraudulent pregnancy centers and, I guess, just threats to reproductive justice everywhere. Thank you.